Tariffs, the situation in the Middle East, and the largest single-day protest in American history, 8 million people on March 28. Every American right now has one question: is all of this happening at the same time by accident, or is there some logic to it? I analyze geopolitical cycles through planetary patterns. On April 17th, a new moon in Aries activates 3 separate celestial configurations for the US simultaneously. 2 of them already activated in April 2007 and April 2018, and I'll show you exactly what happened then and what it means for you right now. The third configuration was active in 2013-2014, and it unexpectedly brings a reason for hope for April-May 2026. All of this unfolds between April 10th and May 17th, 2026. I'll say upfront, everything I analyze here is historical astrological pattern analysis for awareness and personal preparedness. Let's start with the first configuration. The first thing it brings: major scandals and the fall of powerful people. Scandals that until that moment had been hidden. In April 2007, a nationalist syndicated radio host was fired after making racist comments on air, despite being one of the most influential figures in American media. Then, the head of the World Bank that same month lost his position over a favoritism scandal. In April 2018, the FBI conducted a search of the office and home of a sitting president's personal attorney, launching a new phase of a major federal investigation. That same month, a prominent actor was found guilty in court. Then the head of one of the largest technology companies testified before Congress about the data of millions of Americans. People who were considered untouchable ended up in court or under public exposure. And now the cycle is activating again between April 10th and May 17th. Expect major scandals involving media figures or politically powerful individuals. Something hidden will surface and it will be loud enough to make front pages. The second thing the first configuration brings: critical moments of high tension in the area of public safety. This cycle historically coincides with tragic incidents that become turning points in public debate. In April 2007 and April 2018, the US experienced events of extreme tension that launched months of debate around civil safety, and both times without legislative resolution. I'm not saying this to create anxiety. I am saying it because awareness is the best form of preparation. During the period from April 10th through May 17th, be mindful in crowded public spaces and keep an eye on local news. The third thing the first configuration brings: infrastructure stress tests through natural events. A tornado in Greensboro, Kansas in April 2007 wiped out 95% of the town. The Kilauea eruption in Hawaii in May 2018 destroyed hundreds of homes, blocked roads, and disrupted food logistics on the island for weeks. Both events exposed the vulnerability of American infrastructure and forced a reassessment of FEMA standards. Between April 10th and May 17th, the pattern points to likely natural events of an extreme character that will create infrastructure pressure across the US. If you live in a risk zone, this is a period when basic personal preparedness makes sense. Now the second configuration. It also activated in both 2007 and 2018, and it speaks to two things: turbulence in transportation and trade, and a surge in public tension. On transportation and trade, on April 29, 2007, a section of freeway in Oakland collapsed after an infrastructure failure. 280,000 vehicles passed through that point daily. The collapse lasted several weeks. In April 2018, trade restriction against a major Chinese technology company triggered an immediate global disruption in microchip supply chains. An aviation incident on a domestic flight led to mass engine inspection and hundreds of cancelled flights across the country. China began canceling large orders from American soybeans. Ships loaded with grain literally didn't know where to go. New trade investigations against China were launched just last month. The pattern says that between April 10th and May 17th, we will see an intensification of concrete geopolitical turbulence in supply chains and trade flows. If you are planning a domestic flight during this period, build in extra time for potential delays and check your cancellation insurance. And broadly speaking, any travel within the US planned for April 10th through May 17th is worth considering postponing. On public tension, on May 1st, 2007, hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets of Chicago and Los Angeles as part of the Great American Boycott against immigration policy. Peaceful gatherings in several cities ended in clashes with police. That same day, the government made a decision openly contradicting the will of the majority on a key military question, and the approval rating fell to a historic low of 28%. In April 2018, following military action without congressional approval, a wave of civil protests swept through major cities. And on March 28, 2026, 8 million Americans took to the streets in what organizers called the largest single-day protest in US history. The pattern says that between April 10th and May 17th, this wave doesn't stop, it intensifies. The gap between what the administration is doing and what citizens expect will become even more publicly visible. And now the third configuration. This is where it gets genuinely interesting, because this configuration was present in neither 2007 nor 2018. It last activated in 2013-2014, and it speaks to positive outcomes, diplomatic successes, and decisions that produce real results where nobody expected them. Now I know what you might be thinking. With everything that's happened right now, how can there be room for diplomatic breakthrough? That's exactly what makes this configuration so interesting. In 2013, nobody expected any of what happened either, and their breakthroughs came from completely unexpected directions. Let's look at what happened then. In the fall of 2013, the first direct conversation between the leaders of the US and Iran in 30 years took place. Nobody saw it coming. 2 months later, in Geneva, an interim nuclear agreement with Iran was signed, the first real step toward peaceful resolution of a long-running conflict. And in those same weeks, the US and Russia reached an agreement on the destruction of chemical weapons in Syria, which allowed a military strike that was already being prepared to be called off. 3 diplomatic breakthroughs that nobody anticipated within one celestial configuration. This configuration doesn't point to a specific country or specific deal. It points to a window when unexpected diplomatic movement becomes possible. Trade negotiations that seemed stuck, a conflict that seemed unsolvable, a relationship that seemed permanently broken. History shows that this cycle creates moments when something shifts, and shifts fast, in direction nobody predicted. And now it's activating again, on top of everything that's already happening. This tells us that between April 10th and May 17th, an unexpected diplomatic result is possible somewhere in the picture. The space for that right now is very wide, so let's bring it all together. 3 configurations are active simultaneously from April 10th through May 17th. The first, scandals and exposures, public safety events, natural infrastructure stress tests. The second, turbulence in trade and transportation, rising public tension. The third, and this matters, an unexpected diplomatic success that will stand in contrast to everything else. This period will not be easy, but history shows precisely when pressure is at its maximum, this third configuration opens an unexpected way through. Subscribe so you don't miss the moment when the cycle meets a real event. That's when it becomes clear just how precisely this tool works.